Howdy y'all. So, it's Thursday and I'm going to talk about something extra spicy. I'm going to call this one the Alchemical Man. If none of you have heard of alchemy before, that's okay. It's one of those weird mystical sciences and it's the root of chemistry. So all alchemy is prior to chemistry, which uses the principles of thermogenesis. You add energy into a system in order to change base components into something else. Alchemy is no different. You add energy, other materials to a base component in order to get to something else through the art of transmutation, the application of energy into a system. What I'm going to argue in this video is that we as human beings can do alchemy on ourselves because all thought is energy. So if we have a base system and let's say we don't like where that base system currently is and we apply energy to it via thought forms, then we can seriously change our lives. So to start off with this one, I'm going to go over active transmutation, and this is a practice that I would highly recommend everyone get into. And this is where we look at our energetic states throughout the day, right? And if you're in a low state, I'm gonna go over to this chart real quick to explain. I'm gonna need some fucking leash on this one, guys. Everything in this universe can be broken down to terms of frequency, vibration, energy, charge. Everything's energy, and all of these energies have different levels to them within a sphere, okay? Imagine a giant Tower of Babel, whatever you want to call it, Tower of Babylon. At the base, at the root, are the terrible emotions. These are the guilts, the shames, the angers, the fears, the doubts. You know, somewhere in the middle, it switches over, and that's how you have pride into courage, and then the upper emotions, every single one of them gets better and better. And it makes sense. You know, after courage comes willingness, you know, the willingness to admit you're wrong, maybe. And then you have acceptance, where you finally accept, like, okay, I was wrong, I'm going to change. And then love, reason, joy, peace, enlightenment. So when I'm saying alchemy and spiritual alchemy within yourself to transmute to a higher state of being, all I mean is we all experience these emotions, okay? No one can stop them, all right? If you are that special person that is immune to emotions, I just want to point out this one down here. It's called apathy. You might be at apathy, where you're like, man, I'm immune to emotions. I'm like, nah, dude, I think you just don't give a flying fuck. I've been there before. So, where am I going with all this? Active transmutation is, let's take some of those lower states of energy, those states of being that are causing us problems in our life, and let's find a way to apply thought energy to them to transmute them into higher emotional states. I'll give you an example. When I was in college, you know, I did play football for a year, but after I stopped playing football, I kind of just let my diet go. I started drinking a whole bunch, started doing a fuck ton of drugs, like coke, weed, whatever it was, it didn't matter. Just put it in my mouth. Put it in my mouth. It is what it is. So, in that state, I was always feeling guilty. I was always feeling shame, and I was kind of apathetic towards life. I was like, none of this fucking matters. You know, I lost a lot of friends. I'm not on the football team anymore. It doesn't matter. And I got fat. I got like really, really fat. I mean, like double D titties as a guy. It was sensational, okay? So then, what you're going to want to do from this state is to realize that that emotion at that baseline, you're going to feel it irregardless. So why can't we take that emotion and apply some thought to it to change how we're feeling towards a positive outcome, right? And for me, this came in the weight room. So giving me a little bit of leash here, let's say you have a lot of shame about the fact that you're overweight, okay? Shame is all the way at the bottom. You feel heavy, you feel bad. Now, let's say you tell yourself, I'm going to lose weight. I am fit. Now you're applying thought energy to that emotional state. in the hopes that it makes you feel better. So where does that actually go? Because you will feel better if you keep telling yourself this, but we have to understand that within that vibrational chart, we're just moving things around. We're transmuting that lower state to something higher by thinking consciously about it, okay? And for me, what helped was going from a state of fear or guilt or shame to anger. Anger is a gift. Now, of course, in the long run, you want to be understanding and accepting of yourself and your anger so you don't have to push it out onto other people. However, if you're currently not feeling so well, you can get mad. You can get angry and use that anger to change things within your life because there's more energy packed into that emotion than there is anywhere on the bottom here. And that's transmutation. You set a goal and say, hey, I am fit now in my life. I'm not fat. Fat, you're in a state of shame and guilt, right? Fit, you're not there yet, so you're angry that you're not there. Just the thought alone has taken you from a lower state of that shame and guilt up to anger, and then within that energetic transfer, that transmutation right there, that's where the magic happens. This is where you can start visualizing the changes that you want in your life, and then with that applied energetic state, you can actually see changes in your reality much easier. Guys, the point I'm trying to make, and I know this is a lot of woo-woo, okay? Lots of woo-woo today, is the higher you are on that list of vibrational frequencies, okay? The higher you are, the easier it will be to make changes in your life. Imagine each one of them has a set amount of energy. The higher up you go, the more energy it is. So if you're coming from that state and trying to manifest or change things in your life, which all manifestation really is applied energy and thought form into the creation of something new, you're more likely to achieve it. Thus being point number one of being an alchemical man. Transmuting all of your low energy feelings and emotional states into higher ones in order to achieve some type of personal self-goal, self-development, right? And now for the rest of this, I'm gonna break down some of the other areas of alchemy that I would highly recommend because, you know, transmutation, it's not easy and it's much more difficult if you don't have an actual plan to utilize and transmute those low energy states. And to be completely honest, without exercise, I don't think any of this really works. Because meditation is one thing, but it is much harder to learn, and it's more spiritual, it's more inside. You're not actually changing your physical reality around you through meditation. But fitness is probably one of the most important things you can possibly do. Because not only are you gonna see the changes and feel the changes, but in the long run, you're gonna live longer. It's gonna be better for you. You're gonna be more attractive. So, I don't wanna get big head ego type thing for anyone watching this, but if you notice your physical reality changing in the sense of you're more magnetic, you're more attractive, you're stronger, your muscles are more pliable, flexible, whatever it may be, you have more tensile strength within the muscle itself, then yes, you will start to believe in your own success a lot quicker than if you were just to do meditative practices, okay? You want to have some type of physical reality change that will reinforce what you're doing. Because the most beautiful thing about alchemy is like the first time it works. The first time you're able to completely transmute something from a low state to a high state, and that extra energy change really helps you out to achieve a goal, you will notice it, all right? Be conscious of it. Always be conscious of everything you do on a day-to-day basis. That is the goal of life. We do not want to be unconscious in our decisions. We want to be conscious. Otherwise, you might as well just be a video game character in like Skyrim where you have 5 lines of dialogue. No one wants that, right? So be the main character. Now, I kind of skipped ahead here to fitness, but I want to go back to stoicism because as far as being an alchemist goes, you shouldn't let other things bother you. You should understand at the end of the day, we're all on our own spiritual journeys, we're all on our own path. So reactivity is not going to be useful. Reactivity is going to lead you to some of those lower energetic states, which, guys, none of us want to be in, all right? But people make mistakes. We have to let people make mistakes. We have to remove our judgment and use discernment. If somebody's doing something that we don't like and we can't accept into our subjective reality, well, using discernment, we got to say, hey, you know what? We can't be together anymore. We can't be friends anymore. It doesn't mean you're a bad person. It doesn't mean you can't do that. It just means I can't have it in my life, right? That is part of Stoicism. Stoicism is non-reactivity. You just understand everything using that active discernment, active transmutation, whatever you want to call it, to limit what is in your life and what is out of your life. And then from there, I'm going to just say Meditations. By the way, guys, highly recommend, if you have not read Meditations by Marcus Aurelius, there's a newer version out. Let me see. I think I have it somewhere over here. Yes. This book, Meditations by Marcus Aurelius. The original is like very thin, but it's written almost in like a translated Latin English. It's not an easy read, okay? This one much easier. I would highly recommend reading this. It's not necessarily about meditating, but the idea of meditation is to have conscious thought about things, okay? We have to bring our consciousness into the foreground because our consciousness is what controls our subconscious, and the subconscious is what controls our reality that we experience, okay? So, Meditations, great book. Check that one out. But as far as Stoicism goes and being an alchemical man, Meditations is just consciously thinking about the things that we'd like to change. We have to start the process now of saying, hey, I am doing this and it makes me feel like this. How can I change that emotion into something greater? And that's what I was bringing up with some of these other spiritual practices, such as the meditations, the prayers, the journaling, the fitness. All of those are tools or vehicles you can use to get onto a different highway, right? A different highway to a different reality in life. Because every emotional state is like a different highway in the sky. It's gonna lead you to a different place. If you don't like the place that you've been, or you don't like the path you're on and where it ends up, then you need to get to a different highway. And to get to a different highway, you need to use active discernment, stoicism, non-reactivity, and active transmutation to take those current emotional states and fucking yeet them into something better. We have to transmute. We have to ascend to a higher state of vibration, a higher frequency of energy. Okay? And then, since everything with alchemy is energy, okay? So I want you guys, final part of Stoicism is to be aware of pendulums. Now, if you haven't heard of the word pendulum before, this comes from Vadim Zeland. He is a Russian quantum physicist slash mechanics slash, the guy's just the fucking GOAT, okay? He talks about this concept of pendulums, Jesus, that word. And what a pendulum is it's interchangeable with an egregore. Think of it as a non-living, or it could be living, entity of energy. So, for an example, this one's probably the easy example I can give. Look at American politics. Whether you are mad, happy, sad, depressed, it doesn't matter your emotion state, whatever's gonna happen is gonna happen. However, there are people that ruin their lives, ruin their mental state, their own health, and they actually get disease sometimes, because all disease is you're in a state of dis-ease from giving all of their energy to that pendulum. This is a pendulum. All pendulum is something that swings side to side. And it gets more and more vicious the more and more energy that goes into it. So as you can imagine, with this whole Trump and Biden thing right now, or we got the war in Ukraine right now, or we got Gaza right now, there's a lot of fucking energy, guys. And there's no reason to give your energy to it, because all that egregore, all that pendulum wants is to steal your energy, and it will leave you feeling depleted and empty on the inside. So we need to become conscious of everything in our life that we give energy to. This is not just politics. This could be bad habits. This could be doom scrolling. This could be on YouTube for 5 hours every day. Netflix, whatever it is, everything is energy. Everything boils down to energy. So to be the best alchemist you possibly can be, we have to become very conscious of where our energy is going, what state is it in, and can we apply thought energy to it to transmute it to something higher, right? If you're feeling shame for being fat, let's turn it into anger. Let's turn it into acceptance. Let's turn it into willingness to go to the gym, okay? That is the goal. That's the trajectory I want you guys all to get on. Now, real quick, fitness. I kind of touched on this already. The number one thing I wrote down was appearance. Now, when I say appearance, I don't mean I want you guys to all become pretty boys and like super up your own ass and get an ego attached to it, like, oh yeah, man, I'm better than you because I have a six-pack and big muscles. No. Appearance is interchangeable with magnetism. I want you guys to be attractive. That doesn't mean you have to go out of your way to tell other people you are attractive. Attractive people don't need to do that. You just are attractive, and good things come to you when you are, because you're attracting in your life. It's your self-belief, okay, that you deserve good things. I'm a good person. That's the type of attraction I'm talking about. Upgrade your appearance, and one of the best ways to do this is to get in the gym and get some type of workout routine, so therefore you start feeling better about yourself. And as you feel better about yourself, you're gonna talk to yourself in a much nicer way. And when you start doing this, you're gonna notice your emotional state over time is gonna go up, all right? It has to go up. So that's number one of physical fitness, okay? I think becoming attractive to life itself is so important, and physical fitness can help on that journey. Now next, as far as what you guys should be aiming for in the gym, I'll briefly go over how I work out, because I've been through, God, hundreds of different workout routines. I mean, I've strength trained before, I do bodybuilding, and now I've kind of switched to a calisthenics sort of workout, because honestly, I can't keep weight on, because I do my fasting thing all the time. So the number one thing you should aim for is usability with your muscles. Usability. You do not want to be 280 pounds of just pure raw muscle if it requires you to take drugs or eat every single hour every day. It's not functional. It's not usable. You're probably not very flexible, and you're gonna run out of breath very fast, right? Now, if you're a bodybuilder, I'm gonna release a guide at some point for you guys in particular on how to basically become Chris Bumstead. You know, you can do that with your mind. However, for people that are just looking to be healthier, be very conscious of some of the drugs that you put in your body, and if you have any questions, please ask me below. I've done this stuff before. I know what I'm talking about. Okay? So aim for usability, and then second to usability, pretty much exactly on the same wavelength, should be strength. As a man, we should be strong. You should be able to pick things up and put them down. And not only strength of the outside, of the physical form, of the flesh, but of the soul. Because exercise, and honestly the reason I love exercise the most, is it pushes you out of your comfort zone, right? The whole goal of exercise and the whole goal of like gaining muscle is you have to suffer. You have to tear everything down to build it back up, okay? And that's beautiful. And that's the same thing that we're doing with alchemy. All bodybuilding is applied physical alchemy, okay? You have an image in your mind of what you want. You have some feeling state within your body of lack because you don't have it. You're in a lower state. And then you transcend that to a higher emotional state to really get what you want. Okay, that's what most of these bodybuilders do. A lot of them go into the gym angry, and by the end of it, they've come to acceptance or joy or bliss. You know, when you get that pump, I don't know if you ever got a pump, it's pure bliss, it's happiness, all right? So that's very important. Exercise is important, pushing yourself is important, it's good for your spiritual growth, it's good for your body, you're gonna live longer and you're gonna feel better, okay? So please do it. And that's the final point I had down here, health. Be healthy. Be careful with the things you put in your body. Be conscious of it, okay? Just because you have a mountain of muscle does not mean it's healthy. Just because you have six-pack abs does not mean you're healthy. Judge your health not entirely about what you look like, but what you feel like. Okay, guys? The final one I just gotta say is, you gotta become a fucking monster. All right? There is no excuse. There's no excuse. No one is coming to save you. And I hate saying that, but it is true. If you're a guy, no one's gonna come and just tell you what to do. No one's gonna give you your perfect reality. But the whole idea of alchemy, the whole idea of being an alchemist is that it doesn't fucking matter. You don't need it handed to you. As long as you have that thought in your head of what you can be, no one can stop you. The way I like to look at it is the imagination is God, okay? And if you like the Bible, like I like reading certain parts of the Bible. I don't necessarily agree with everything within religion, but let's say you have a higher power. So this imagination is what shows you what you can be. It shows you the reality that could be yours. And all you have to fucking do is claim it. That's it. You have to claim it. You have to say, that's me. I am that. And the beautiful thing that it keeps reiterating in the Bible, the Torah, all the holy texts, is that nothing is made that isn't made through God, okay? So if God is your imagination and he shows you the roadmap, you know it's true. It is reality because time is completely relative. Past, present, future, an imaginative thought is always going to be real. Because within the metaphysical plane of existence, of reality, if you can see something, it means it's either A, happened, B, it will still happen, but not yet, or C, it is a potential that could happen. All of which are guaranteed. Because if you can see them pushed out into the future, that means you can experience them in a future present moment. They are real. You wouldn't be able to see them otherwise. And they're guaranteed by God. All right? So you have to use this process of alchemy to raise your own energetic level to that to almost meet God, if that makes sense. I know this is very woo-woo, but at the end of the day, the highest energetic source that you possibly have would be enlightenment. And enlightenment to me, I don't like the term. I don't like people walking around being like, oh my God, I'm the chosen one, man. I'm like, no, stop that. We're all chosen, but the thing is you have to choose yourself. You have to choose to go back to source. You have to go through this whole process, and near the top, you have that willingness, right? You have that acceptance. You have that surrender. Okay, so if you want everything you can possibly imagine in your life, you have to be willing to surrender to that higher source and let the source lead you to it. Okay? If you see it, it exists and it's yours. Now, it is your job to become the alchemist. It is your job to transcend all of these low emotional states that have been keeping you stuck. No one is keeping you stuck except for you. You must become a monster. And nothing can stop you once you adopt that mentality. That mentality is, if I see it, if I can feel it, it's already fucking mine. And if you got a problem, well, I'm feeling a little bit hungry. Alright guys, this is part 1 of the Alchemical Man. I think I'm going to probably do some more explanations on each individual part. I could honestly make hundreds of episodes on this shit alone. So let me know if you have any questions. Otherwise, have a wonderful Thursday. Love you guys. Be good.